The greatest gift that you can give yourself for 2020 and that will last for the rest of your life is unconditional self-love. This is something that most of us never actually experience or really cultivate or develop within ourselves, because usually we're holding ourselves to a standard, we have a goal, there's something to achieve, and so therefore it's not okay to be satisfied or happy or to even give ourselves love and to care for ourselves and to take care of ourselves. But of course, if your cup is empty, it's very difficult to give anything to anyone. It's very difficult to achieve any goal. And many times people think that rest is the way that they fill their own cup. And although rest is important, and I see it as a major part of self-love, it's not the only ingredient. You have to consider that if you don't really go out of your way to take great care of yourself and to really love yourself, it's hard to expect anybody else to. And it becomes pretty difficult to keep going and to achieve your goals and to be passionate and to have a lot of energy if you aren't giving yourself this incredible gift. It's a shift in consciousness. It's where you no longer operate out of guilt or just trying to escape something. You're no longer chasing this goal for a high. You're not just playing the game so that you can get something out of it. You know that you are already great, that you are already perfect as you are in many ways, as the cliche would say, but even more so that even if there are imperfections, even if there is something that isn't quite right, or you're not quite there yet, or you're not doing everything perfectly the way you should be, you still love yourself. It's not the biggest self-critic. I'm my own biggest critic. This used to be the old way of achieving big goals and being a successful athlete or business person or artist or anything. The only way was to criticize yourself and, really hold yourself to the fire of accountability, and only then can you achieve and achieve and achieve. And in reality, we live in a different world now where, of course, it's important to compete in many areas and you want to be number one and succeed, sure. But ultimately, you can collaborate. You can work with other people. You can create something far greater if you aren't always focused on being number one and showing everybody that you're the best. And therefore, that old mindset of holding yourself to the fire isn't always the most effective way to get to where you want to be anymore. And that is a huge revelation to a lot of us. I know it was for me. It transformed me. When I realized that, hey, no longer do I have to push all the time and stress and worry and be aggressive and go get it, that actually I benefited from slowing down, taking a moment to just breathe, clearing my mind, walking around for no apparent reason, just scheduling 2 hours of walking around almost aimlessly, you might say, thinkitating, meditating and thinking sort of mixed together. You go into a higher state, you get better ideas, you make smarter moves instead of working harder. This is why self-love is the greatest gift, because it elevates your state, which actually gives you the option to work a lot less, because you can work a lot smarter. You see, I don't have a direct correlation between how many hours of work I put in and how well I performed or how great outcomes have been in my life. This goes for health, it goes for relationships, it goes for business, it goes for spirituality. More hours in my business didn't always equal more profit. More work and more time into my relationship didn't always make it better. It was about better quality work, right? And you know this, work smarter, work smarter, work smarter. But you can't work smarter if you have limiting beliefs and thoughts about what you deserve. what ends up happening is you sabotage yourself. And if you can look back through the last year and think about how great you might have done if you were at your best, and then compare that against what you actually achieved, often you'll find a pretty massive gap. And often it's not for a lack of work ethic, although maybe that's a part of your problem. Sometimes it has been a part of mine. For the most part, it's not the major contributor to our problems or what's holding us back. Usually it's the quality. And you might even know what the right strategy is. You might even have the greatest ideas. If you don't, go get them, of course, learn. But if you know them and you're not executing them, and you are still working hard, but maybe you're not working hard the right way, now it really becomes a question of what's going on here, right? It's almost like you know what you should be doing, you know you have the work ethic to back it up and do it, and in fact you're using that, but just not the right way. And so some might say, well, you're stupid. But then everybody's stupid because almost none of us are maximizing our potential. So the way you tap into this isn't about achieving the next big thing by working the hardest you ever have, although it will help. And it's not just about knowing the best ideas, although it will help. Most importantly, it's about allowing yourself to take advantage of those things, allowing yourself to elevate. We all have a glass ceiling, and it's created mentally, and it's created by the way we perceive ourselves. And so if you believe that you're the type of person who will never earn more than $80,000 a year, I can guarantee you that's right around where you'll hover. You're not going much higher, and you might not even go much lower. That will be your comfort zone. And because, if of course, you don't give yourself that self-love, if you don't give yourself that unconditional sense of that, hey, it's okay, you can't really progress. Because see, pushing through the comfort zone, what I often see is almost like a rubber band, where you'll just snap right back to where you came from. What's comfortable and what's normal for you. If you push and force, it works for a while, and if you keep pushing and forcing, you can make it pretty far. But if you let go and you allow and you give yourself space and you love yourself unconditionally without achieving, without pushing, without succeeding, what happens is it becomes easier. So I'm not telling you not to work hard. I think it's great. I'm not telling you not to learn the greatest strategies because they're great. I do that. I do both those things. But what I am telling you is add this third component, this magical part where you say, you know what? Even if I don't have the best idea, even if I don't work the hardest, I still love me. I know that I'm a great person, and unconditionally, regardless, I'm worthy. I don't need to prove it or work hard to get it to feel good about myself. However, since I already feel good about myself, my cup is overflowing, and now it's easy to do the work. It's not pressure and stress and go get it and fight. It's enjoyable. It's fun. It's lighthearted. It's me filming this video right now on Christmas because it's fun. Can it be that simple? Can it be that enjoyable? Can it be a good experience? Of course. We make it otherwise. We buy into those beliefs. We try to push and shove and force, and it creates that resistance, and it makes us feel bad, and then we wonder why we feel bad. So what if you just loved you anyway? What if you just enjoyed your own company and didn't need to achieve and prove something to feel good? And then you went and did it anyway because it was cool, because you were inspired to. It's just the same as giving something to someone. If you do it out of guilt, it's something. But if you do it out of love and joy, because you want to, not for any agenda, not to try to get something back, you win by feeling incredible, because it's such a rewarding feeling when you're not doing it from a place of desperation, but rather from a place of inspiration.